The sun hung low in the sky, casting long shadows over the dense thicket as Cedric of the Radiant Dawn and his companions trekked through the underbrush. The air was thick with anticipation, and the distant sounds of rustling leaves hinted at the hidden dangers that lay ahead. Selim Thorn walked beside Cedric, his sharp eyes scanning the surroundings for any sign of movement, while Elenara Vaslarian trailed slightly behind, her fingers twitching with unspent magic. "Just an hour more," Cedric called back, his voice steady and reassuring. "Stay alert. The Goblin's Den is notorious for its traps and tricks." Lyra Silverpaw, ever the free spirit, offered a half-smile, her bow at the ready. "Traps are only a challenge for the unprepared. With Raxith leading the way, we'll carve a path through," she said, glancing at their towering companion who strode confidently at the front, his vibrant scales glinting in the fading light. Raxith turned, a glint of pride in his fierce eyes. "Let them come. I live for such challenges." Cedric nodded, appreciating the warrior's spirit. "But let's not get reckless. We can't afford to underestimate the goblins. They thrive in the shadows, and we need a clear plan. Selim, you're our eyes in the dark. Any sign of movement, you alert us." "Understood," Selim replied, his voice low and serious. "I'll keep watch, but we should also think about how we'll handle the goblins once we're inside. They won't take kindly to intruders." Elenara chimed in, her eyes sparkling with ideas. "I can cast a few illusions to confuse them. It might buy us time to locate their leader, or at least their treasure." "Good thinking," Cedric said, impressed. "But we need to be careful not to draw too much attention. Raxith, and I can engage them directly if things go south. Lyra, stay back and provide cover fire while Selim scouts ahead." Lyra nodded, her expression serious. "If we can lure some of them out, we might have a chance to thin their numbers before we go deeper." Raxith grinned, the idea igniting his competitive spirit. "I'll be the bait then. They won't resist a challenge." "Let's just make sure it doesn't end with your overrun," Selim warned, a hint of humor in his voice to lighten the mood. "Remember, we're a team. Trust each other." With the sun dipping below the horizon, the sense of urgency grew palpable. Together they pressed on, the darkening woods whispering secrets, as the Goblin's Den awaited just beyond the next rise. As the group advanced towards the Goblin's Den, the atmosphere crackled with tension. Raxith led the way, his imposing figure moving like a shadow, while Cedric followed closely behind, ready to spring into action. Elenara whispered a spell under her breath, her hands weaving intricate patterns in the air as they approached the entrance. "Remember the plan," Cedric reminded them, glancing back at his companions. "Elenara, use your illusions to confuse them. Lyra, stay on high ground for cover. Raxith and I will engage directly." With a nod, Elenara raised her hands and conjured shimmering illusions of themselves, casting them into the den. The goblins, caught off guard, turned towards the flickering figures, snarling and shouting in their guttural language. "Now!" Cedric shouted, charging forward with Raxith at his side, their weapons drawn. The two paladins burst into the den, their presence a force of nature. The goblins, realizing they had been tricked, shrieked and scrambled to ready their crude weapons. The first goblin lunged at Cedric, brandishing a jagged dagger. With a swift movement, Cedric deflected the blow with his shield, the impact resonating through his armor. He countered with a swift strike of his sword, catching the goblin off guard and sending it sprawling into the dirt. Meanwhile, Raxith let out a fearsome roar, charging into a group of 3 goblins. His massive frame and sheer ferocity sent them stumbling back. With a powerful swing of his axe, he cleaved through one goblin, while the others scattered, desperate to escape his wrath. "You call this a fight?" he taunted, a fierce grin spreading across his face. From her perch, Lyra knocked an arrow to her bow, her keen eyes tracking the movements of the goblins. She released a shot that soared through the air, striking a goblin right in the shoulder. It howled in pain, clutching the wound as it fell to the ground. "Just try to dodge that," she shouted, adrenaline coursing through her veins. Elenara, still weaving her illusions, created a shimmering wall that momentarily disoriented the goblins. "Now's our chance," she called, her voice full of conviction. "Keep pushing forward." As the chaos unfolded, Cedric and Raxith pressed deeper into the den, their teamwork seamless. Cedric blocked incoming blows with his shield, while Raxith unleashed devastating attacks, sending goblins flying. "Stay together," Cedric shouted over the din of battle. "We need to find their leader." Just then, a larger goblin emerged from the shadows, wielding a spiked club and surrounded by an aura of malice. "Foolish intruders," it snarled, its eyes glinting with cruel delight. "You'll regret coming here." Raxith met the larger goblin's gaze, his excitement surging. "I'll take this one," he declared, charging forward to meet the brute head-on. The two clashed with a thunderous impact, the ground shaking beneath them. Raxith swung his axe with all his might, but the goblin was quick, dodging the blow and retaliating with a fierce strike that caught Raxith across the side. Cedric, seeing his friend in danger, rushed to Raxith's side. "Together," he shouted, raising his sword. With a synchronized attack, they struck at the goblin, pushing it back. Elenara unleashed a torrent of magic, sending arcs of energy that struck true, illuminating the dark den with sparks of light. Lyra continued firing arrows with unerring accuracy, each one finding its mark. "Just a little more," she urged, her heart racing as she spotted the goblin leader faltering. With one final coordinated effort, Raxith and Cedric surged forward, their weapons crashing down on the goblin leader. The creature let out a final, anguished scream before collapsing to the ground, defeated. As the dust settled and the echoes of battle faded, the remaining goblins hesitated, fear flickering in their eyes. One by one, they dropped their weapons and fled into the shadows of the den. Together, they stood victorious, their breaths heavy but triumphant. The entrance to the goblins' den lay open before them, revealing the treasures and secrets hidden within. "Let's move," Cedric said, his voice steady. "Our journey has only just begun."